Hey, Nashville. Welcome back to the Nashville Fit Podcast, brought to you by the Optimize You Studio. Our sponsors today are Senza Paddle, which is so fun. I've done it before. Love that. Craft Body Scan and B2 Wellness Suites. And we are in a B2 Wellness Suite. Welcome to the B2 Wellness Suite, guys. We have a couple guests today, not just a guest who is going to be sharing about what they do, but we also have a guest host who is my dear friend. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Mark Vikingstad. It's good to be here. Thank you for inviting me to do this.
You're welcome.
It's very
I'm so
fun.
excited. We missed Tala. She wasn't able to be here today, but this was just a fun, unexpected thing. Mark and I work together at a gym. So BFT, he's repping today.
I came right from work. So
yeah, I literally turned to him and I was like, you want to host with me on a podcast? And he was like, absolutely.
Sure.
Sounds great. So
let's go.
Yeah. But you got a little bit of experience under your belt with
little bit
radio and stuff like that. So are you nervous?
We should be good to go. No, not really.
No nerves?
No. Having a conversation is a pretty easy thing to do, I think. So we should have some fun. It should be pretty fun.
It's harder than it sounds sometimes. I mean, it sounds easy, but when you have a camera in front of you, it can be hard.
Don't tell me that. I had
That's just the way I feel.
Expectations.
You're an expert, though. We also have Ben Moore here with us today, and he's going to share about his business and all the things that he does. Welcome, Ben.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Of course. We're excited to have you. And before we get into EVO is his business, before we get into that, we're going to do the basket of debate. I gave you guys a rundown on this. It gets real intense. Just keep it mild, everybody.
Deep combo.
Yeah. Okay. How about Ben, you go first.
Oh, man.
And we'll all respond to that.
Oh, boy. This is an interesting one. If kids ruled the world, what would be the first law they'd make?
Whoa.
Man, we've got two kids. So we've got two little girls, 5 and 7. And so we're like all things like rainbow unicorns right now. So
nice. Love it.
I feel like one law would definitely revolve around like ice cream at every meal. I feel like that would be like first, like it's required. Every meal would be ice cream coming in. And then maybe, I don't know, something like everybody has to have 5 dogs. Would be probably, at least my kids would probably put that one into law.
They're like, can we please get another one?
My youngest this morning said that if she was a grown-up, she would have 100 dogs.
Oh, so that's perfect for this.
Yeah.
Wow, what a perfect prompt.
Yeah.
100 dogs.
That's a lot of work.
100 dogs?
2 dogs is enough. We have 2 golden retrievers at the house, and that's enough. You know,
we got a third last year.
Oh, did you?
And
golden retrievers?
No, they're all rescues. Okay. And two's enough.
2's enough.
We love them all.
Yeah.
3 is just right over the edge.
We also have 2, and I mean, all dogs are cute, and the temptation to get another one is there, but we won't because 2's just enough.
There's those pet adoption agencies, man. We're at the farmer's market, and they just give you the puppy eyes, and you're like, okay, now we have 3 dogs.
Yeah.
And they throw it right in front of you, too.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like,
here, pet this one. Don't you love him?
This
one. How do you turn it down? Like, they need a home. Everybody go adopt a dog if you're listening. You have to go.
Is my turn?
Yeah. Respond to his prompt.
Oh, what's the rule? Okay.
What would the rule be?
I think it would be whenever they pointed at something and they wanted it, they would automatically get it.
Whoa, that's a good one.
Instant gratification.
There's just my niece went with my wife to the Disney on Ice.
Oh, we went to that as well.
Yeah. Yep. And she just pointed at all the light up wands and all that stuff, and they were expensive.
$45.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I saw them. Yes.
So
they're expensive. So they're like, and then of course it's like, no, we have one at home. We have this at home. That would be a rule. They would just automatically have it in their hand if they just said, I want that. There it is.
That's
They're
true.
Pretty good.
That's good. I think, so many things are running through my head. I'm trying to think back to my teaching days of what kids liked or wanted. But I think in a school setting, recess, just like if recess could happen all day, that's what they wanted. And like imaginative play. Yeah, I don't know. I think, but then again, if they were left to themselves, would they only play video games? Like,
no learning.
It would just, the point is there would be no learning. Like, they would just play.
Yeah, see what they want to do.
All day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which in turn sometimes actually turns into learning.
Yeah.
It's their jobs, right? The job is to play, explore the world.
Right.
Like the Montessori schools. Do you know about those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty cool concept. Okay. Mark, you go.
Okay. Mine is sparkling water better than still water? So I have a soda stream at home. I like the sparkling water.
Nice.
Right? It's fine. But I don't know, it just depends on, I think for me, it depends on what I'm going to eat. If I'm eating like dinner or something, I want the sparkling water. If it's just water during the day, then it can be still. Then I'm fine. That's where my line is. Like sparkling water is much better with a meal than still water is. Still water can just be after a workout. Still water is fine. I don't want the sparkling water after a hard workout. I don't think it would sit the same way.
No, I agree with that. I think sparkling water is good, like a Spindrift or a LaCroix or something with food, and maybe like a midday, just like something. But if I had to choose, I would pick still water for sure. What about you?
Yeah, I think still water is a means to an end.
Yeah.
The sparkling is an experience.
Yes.
So if I'm a little bored or just having it by itself, I need an experience, and we're going sparkling. But no one's chugging a liter of sparkling without dire consequences.
Dire consequences. Yeah, seriously. Ooh, and also, like, I really can't speak to that because I'd never get like just plain sparkling water. Like I'm always getting like LaCroix or something that
There's
has
a flavor
to it. Yeah.
How much flavor is the appropriate amount? Because the LaCroix is like there's a grapefruit in the other room while you're drinking the water. It's not
It's wafting in.
Yes, yeah. There's a grapefruit in the building somewhere versus this is grapefruit flavored.
Yeah. For water, I think I like it being in the other room.
Yeah, I think it's just a hint.
Yeah, but I do like Spindrift more, and that's like real juice. It's not like flavoring that you don't know what it is.
The essence.
Yeah,
of this.
flavor essence, whatever they call it. Like Spindrift has like real lime juice, and I think that is actually perfect. It's not like you're drinking a lime straight, but it's a good.
I'd agree with that. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't like the lime chemical. You want the actual good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, mine says, if you could swap lives with an animal for a day, which would you choose?
Ooh.
This is a good one. I guess I'll go first. Yeah. I think I would choose a horse. I feel like that is my favorite animal besides a dog. And I think it'd just be so like, to be like that powerful and just like feel like you are so strong and just run and like if you're a horse with like big open fields and just I think that would be cool. But also horse flies would be really annoying.
Ooh,
I don't know if I'd want to deal with that for a day.
The horse experience they don't talk about. That's a good point.
But I mean, I love horses. I think they're beautiful and so cool creatures. So probably horse.
Yeah, horse is a good one. I don't know. I think I'd want to like explore some like vast expanse that you can as a human. So like I think either one or two directions. One like an albatross, like a hawk, where you can just like fly all over the place. But I mean, also like a great white shark would be pretty awesome. Like, or maybe a dolphin, something where you can swim a long way, you go pretty deep. I mean, it's a lot of.
Oh, I didn't even think about the ocean. That would change my answer.
There's a lot to explore.
That would definitely change my answer.
Yeah, I don't know, something. Yeah, probably either a shark or a dolphin where you can get around and. Check it out down there.
You can make
and also
that question,
not worry about like the only day you're an animal you get eaten.
Yeah,
like,
that's true. Yeah, if you're going to be the one doing the
regular
eating,
fish,
you want to be the shark. You want to be the one eating.
Apex predator. Yeah.
You can make that question into two parts. Be like, which land animal? And which ocean animal would you like to be?
Or sky.
Or sky. Yeah, that's three different ways. For myself, I really don't have an answer to this. I really don't know, because from what we just gathered, that's pretty tough. Because there's so much, I mean, and whenever it talks about the negative part of it, that there's certain things that happen to certain animals at certain times that are just like, that'd be awful to be a part of some of those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess in the positive, I would take the life of my golden retrievers, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Sleep for 16 hours a day.
These animals are spoiled.
You get taken care of. You get food in front of you. I mean, yeah. That'd be a great life to live.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah. I could be Arnie, my dog.
Yeah.
I could be him for a day.
I could do that.
Yeah.
I could do that.
That wouldn't be hard.
Yeah. Not a bad life.
Well, that was a good basket of debate. I feel like we had some good conversation there. Okay, Ben, tell us why you're here. Tell us what you do.
Yeah, so what I do. So I'm a physical therapist by trade. I own EVO Performance Therapy. So we are a what I call like a movement health clinic in the Nashville area. So we're a group of physical therapists, chiropractors, pelvic health specialists, and all with like a fitness background. So strength and conditioning, coaching in some capacity. So we work with people basically to help them get out of pain and optimize their movement health. So that's a mix of hands-on therapy, whether that's dry needling, cupping, scraping, all the modalities, and then a lot of like movement coaching. So I mean, the idea is that we want to help people stay active and healthy their entire life, and so make sure they're not limited by pain or mobility issues that crop up.
You said you have a group of physical therapists, chiropractors, who else?
A pelvic health specialist.
Pelvic health specialists. Yep. All in one, encompassing.
Yep. So it's a group of us, right? So it's we all ascribe to the same methodology. We all treat very much the same, but we do have different backgrounds, which can lead to just bouncing a lot of ideas off of each other. So we'll do a lot of like internal referrals where, you know, if we're maybe one of our therapists is treating someone for some hip or low back pain and maybe there's a pelvic health component, we can just refer to our pelvic health therapist. And it really makes for a nice like holistic experience for clients.
Yes. Would you say that a lot of people are doing that now more than before?
Yes, I think that is the way it's going. Yeah. I've obviously as a physical therapist, I kind of keep up with the industry and where it's going. And hot take, I think that physical therapy as we have known it is dying a slow death right now. I think it really like peaked in the 90s, like the golden era. And right now with the state of just the healthcare market, the fitness market, we're watching healthcare premiums go up. It's costing more to have health insurance. Insurance providers their reimbursement rates are declining. So with costs and inflation, all of these, your more traditional physical therapy practitioners are in this real pickle where their costs are up, reimbursements are down. That can't, the only lever they have left to pull really is patient volume. And you don't want to go somewhere where you're, there's 2 to 3 patients being seen at a time. You get 10 minutes with the therapist and you're passed off to a tech. So I think we're on the verge of seeing a big revolution in the outpatient musculoskeletal rehab world. I think there's some big changes that are occurring.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense, like to have one kind of hub for all the things. Like as a personal trainer, I'm constantly seeing the need to have more education as a physical therapist, or anything like that involves the human body. I'm like, the more knowledge I can have, the better. And otherwise I'm just going to have to refer out. But if I can know how to do things, then that makes sense. My brother-in-law just got out of chiropractor school. And one thing he said to me was that he's like, chiropractic is great, but most things, like if you're getting to the root of something long-term, most things can be fixed through correctional exercise. And like his vision is to do similar to like what you're doing because it just makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, if we look at like just fitness trend, and we're technically healthcare professionals, but I would consider us very much in like the fitness market. That's my background. I've been a personal trainer since 2008. I've owned a CrossFit gym. I've been doing stuff in the fitness space for a long time now, and that's who we specialize in working with, are active people. But if we're looking at trends in the health and wellness market, I mean, we're seeing sauna and cold plunge studios are on the rise. We're seeing the non-alcoholic beverage industry is on the rise. We're seeing more and more concierge medicine. People are getting their blood work done, trying to optimize their hormones. Everyone is moving towards this wellness model where they're trying to stay healthy, and there hasn't quite been a breakthrough yet in the what I'd call like the movement health piece of that. There's options, but your traditional physical therapy or traditional chiropractic model doesn't fit as neatly into where the healthcare market is going, and so in my mind, that creates a gap that we're hoping to fill.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Do you think there's an opportunity for these gyms are popping up. Everybody goes to a gym. There's membership options, things like that. Do you think that's part of this wellness movement? And when it comes to mobility, is there a spot for just a mobility gym in terms of like, hey, instead of going and getting a referral from a doctor coming in and doing this, we just kind of specialize in this? Do you think there's actually an opportunity for that? Or is it just a little bit too niche for certain people to come in and be like, oh, I want to spend a membership on mobility work. Yeah. Like, where is my biggest benefit? That kind of thing.
this is an opinion on this, but I think that Pilates is filling that gap for a lot of people right now. I think Pilates is obviously on the come up right now. I mean, it's been around forever, but the number of Pilates studios is just booming right now. And I think a lot of people are seeking that out as a corrective exercise model, right? Because it's filling the need of like, I don't want to go to physical therapy. I don't want to, they don't understand my needs. Where can I go? I'm going to get some good core strengthening, mobility work. So I think, I think there's room for it. I think about it like gyms are the front lines for solving the like health crisis in America right now. Like that's where people are going. They're there, most days of the week. But then behind that, if and when we have some sort of musculoskeletal pain, what do you do? Do you need to go out and go get an MRI? Maybe. Typically, no. If we just have some mechanical low back pain that pops up, maybe because you slept funny or like just upped your volume too much or some knee pain when you started your run program, we don't need to go get that image and go down this really expensive, long, drawn out medical route. Can we just go to a provider that can just catch it, fix it, keep you in the gym, and get you better, good to go in a few weeks? I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. So you said that a bit ago when you were talking about everybody who is involved with EVO, you said you all have the same methodology. What would you say? What is y'all's like protocol? Like, what are you guys all working towards? Like, what's your goal with clients that come to see you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's centered around like our mission and vision. And so, if we're
share that with us.
So if we're looking to have like what we'd call like achieving like maximum impact with our clients, and we want to do that. We want to impact as many, active people as possible on the biggest scale that we can. And we do that through our scope of practice. And so for us, that is as much preventative work as it is reactive care. I think generally speaking, the healthcare system is very reactive. You do your thing until you get hurt, then you stop doing your thing, you get it fixed, and then you go back. Versus like just staying on top of like your health and wellness to make sure that, if you do get hurt, like you stayed on top of it, and it's not that big of a deal. So we have lots of people we've worked with for years. We see them about once a month, and these folks just don't get injured. If anything pops up, we're seeing them within a 4-week. We're able to modify, to work on some things, and we get it knocked out. The folks that come in that we need to work with for 3 to 6 months to truly solve an issue, these are things that have been going on for months or even years. We really have to kind of rewire their movement mechanics. We have to really modify like training styles. And so if you just never get to that point in the first place, that's how we keep people healthy. So that's really our vision of how we want to work with people. There's a few like philosophical things that we think about. So we're super evidence-based, and that is based off of anecdotal evidence and also like scientific literature. So we base all of our approaches on what does the literature say. We try to stay up to date on that because it's always changing. We are what I would say like movement optimists. So I think in the healthcare space, there's a lot of like doom and gloom around the human body. Like, a lot of times we're spoken to like we're these like washing machines that just you're going to break after enough cycles and then you get your parts replaced. Whereas we really view the human body as this like resilient, adaptable thing, and that our bodies are made to be stressed, and we just need to apply the right amount of stress and for the right amount of time. And you can adapt to almost anything. So I think taking that optimistic mindset into rehab, into human movement, don't be scared to deadlift, to squat. You should have the freedom to go and do whatever movements or training methodology you want to do. Just make sure your body's ready for it. There's no like bad movement per se. So I think that probably captures the essence of how we think about things.
Yeah, I love that. And that's so like freeing to somebody who like feels like they want to continue moving their body, or they feel like they're stuck because of an injury, or they're just scared to become injured. What would you say to somebody who like maybe gets injured and then is like, I think I just need to rest? What would you say to somebody like that who just thinks like rest is the answer?
I mean, obviously rest can be beneficial. It depends on what the problem is. And, frankly, in your early 20s and teens, if you just like are doing something and you just chill out for a minute, a lot of times it just kind of gets better. That changes over time, where we have to actually be more intentional with our recovery. What I'll tell people is, typically if you have a symptomatic episode, you have an injury, your body goes on high alert, the inflammatory process kicks up, that goes way up, and your tissues become sensitized. That will come down with rest. depending on how long that goes on for, your tissue tolerance, your strength and resiliency will decondition over time. And so if you get hurt and you just rest for like 4 to 8 weeks for something to really chill out and heal, but you haven't done anything in that time, now you're in this vulnerable spot of like, I feel fine, but now I've deconditioned these tissues. And so if you just jump right back into the thing, the likelihood of a re-injury is quite high. So a better approach, what we found, is relative rest. So we need to allow the sensitive area to calm down. And so keep doing all the other things. You want to keep your nervous system firing and make sure your body feels safe. Let that chill out, but stay active in all the other ways that you can. And like, let's say you have some knee pain. Well, great. You still got another leg and 2 good arms and a whole bunch of other stuff you can do. And that's going to expedite.
Move.
You can still move and do stuff. Yeah. You don't need to like shut it down because one specific area hurts. So resting is okay. It rarely fixes things long term because it fails to address the root cause.
Yeah, I can imagine that you think you're resting. Okay, I hurt my back, whatever this was for say, and you're resting it. You're not doing your deadlifts anymore, and then all of a sudden you're like, but you didn't realize that the deadlift was either your form, something in that was off, and you're not figuring out what that is. You're just going to come and continually repeat this process without trying to figure out, oh, I was doing this just a little bit off. There's just a little bit of this or this or this that has to be changed. And so then you come to you and you kind of point that out for them. They see it like, okay, we'll learn how to do this in the safe, correct manner, and we won't end up injuring ourselves over and over again down the road. Yeah. I mean, I think pain is just our body's way of trying to get us to pay attention. It's just a request for change. And even if you have like perfect form, you can still get hurt. Yeah. Sometimes it's just a matter of volume accumulation, like how much are we doing, how recovered are we, how hydrated we are. But then a lot of times there are mechanical issues. And so, maybe you tweak your back with a deadlift, but maybe one hip is missing a lot of rotation and you can't hinge cleanly through that hip and, enough volume and intensity, and then it just goes. And so you want to go in and actually figure out from a movement standpoint, where am I missing mobility? Where am I missing stability? Let's solve that. Then let's get back to deadlifting. And that's actually going to be the thing that makes you feel stronger and more resilient.
I think I asked that question because I feel like there is a misconception with rest, just like being the fix-all for pain. Along with that, when it comes to stretching versus strengthening, when is the appropriate time for stretching? When's the appropriate time for strengthening? And when are both most effective? Yeah,
this is a great question. I love this. I did not send this to you ahead of time. That's a really good one. You're teeing it up nicely. So when we go in and we're looking at someone that's dealing with an injury or just wants to like optimize their movement health, we want to look at really 2 different things. We want to look at their mobility and their stability. Everyone lives on a continuum of those 2 things. Your mobility is essentially like your flexibility. How much passive range of motion do your joints have? Your stability is how much strength and control you have during that. If there is a large imbalance between the 2, the risk of injury goes up because compensation patterns crop up and then they work until they don't, and then we get hurt. So if you can picture someone with a lot of mobility, maybe is super into yoga, they stretch, they're very bendy and flexible. Don't do a lot of strength work, and so they have all this like super bendy passive range of motion, but they don't have good control over it. So there's folks that can bend themselves into a pretzel, but you put a barbell on their back and they can't hit depth on a back squat. On the flip side of that, you have someone who is more stiff dominant, who maybe is very strong. Maybe if we're creating this picture in our head, maybe this competitive power lifter that super strong, but maybe can't put their arms up over their head. They need more mobility. So the interventions to fix these things aren't complex if you have a good evaluation to figure out where you are. So what we try to do with people is figure out, where are your mobility limitations? Where are your stability limitations? Where are you most dominant? And then you plug in the appropriate intervention. Because if you have a stability issue that is presenting as something that's tight and you're just like stretching it over and over and over again, but never strengthening it, it never gets better.
Oh, that's so good. I'm like thinking about different clients I've had as you're speaking. Different issues people come to us with all the time at the gym.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Mobility doesn't have to be complex. I think it can feel overwhelming for people where they're not sure, how do I improve my range of motion? They think I either have to stretch for an hour or go do these crazy, like just hit everything. And it's like, no, if you really just know like the 2 to 3 things for you to work on, like maybe it's a stability drill, a mobility drill for this, 5-10 minutes a day, and you're like hitting like 95% of it.
Yeah. One more thing before we go into break, I did want to ask while we're on this. Are there any like mobility or movement patterns that you would want to see people be able to perform or do well before you would like have them strength train in compound moves? Like before someone gets a barbell on their back for a back squat or a deadlift or a bench press, are there any things mobility wise you would want to see someone be able to do first before you would do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think having a good grasp of how people are moving generally. So let's say we're going to do some back squats. I want to know, can this person access their ranges comfortably? So, and it could be something simple as like, hey, do an air squat, or here's a PVC pipe. And not to use that as a gatekeeping mechanism, say you can't back squat until you can do it with the PVC pipe, but just to say like, I'm not going to expect you to, we're not going to go on a squat cycle. Maybe we're just going to do some box squats, or maybe I'm going to elevate your heels, you just to give you information to know what exercise is going to be most beneficial for them. And then you can create a structured plan to progress them to that full range of motion if it's in line with their goals, right? If they don't care anything about back squatting, then like, and they can't hit the positions, then maybe we don't back squat, maybe we just do some other stuff. But if they want to and it's important to them, you do need some information as to like what positions do you have access to. And I mean, for us in the clinic, we'll break it down all the way down to we're on the table looking at your passive versus your active. How do you integrate that? Where is the specific limiter? And then we'll address that limiter while giving like a comparable substitute. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, for sure. I think sometimes it's hard as a trainer to see, okay, is this person just do they not understand how to do the form, or can they physically not get in the correct form to be able to perform a back squat, for example? And so for injury prevention, like, is this physically something we have to work on ahead of time before they get it, or do they just need better cues to understand what movement?
Is it like grasping the instruction versus a physical barrier? I think that's where like creating constraints can be helpful, because if you can kind of watch someone move and identify where their limiter is, you can build constraints around the movement that will then improve it. So let's say you watch someone squat and their shins are vertical. You're like, you're missing some ankle dorsiflexion there. Let me just elevate your heels. Boom, I got a full depth squat. Okay, your constraint is ankle mobility. So I'm not going to expect you to hit a full depth front squat or overhead squat. We can still squat. I'm just going to elevate your heels. And then in between sets, we're working on some ankle range of motion.
Yeah, that's my issue. I love those elevators.
They're
so
very
nice.
handy.
Yeah, working on the ankle mobility. Well, I want to know, after the break, I want to know how you got into this and the whole backstory and how you got to where you guys are now today with EVO.
Sounds great.
We know prevention is always the best medicine, but our healthcare system can't prevent disease. It only helps when you're already sick. At Kraft Body Scan, we find cancer, heart disease, and other health problems before symptoms appear. And that early detection could be the key to saving your life. Take your health into your own hands. Schedule a couple's heart and lung scan today for only $149. Visit togetherwescan.com.
Hey guys, welcome back to the NFM Podcast. We're here with Ben Moore, and he is sharing with us about EVO, and we are just going to get into the backgrounds. Tell us how you got to where you are.
Yeah. Oh, man. Let's see. So back when I moved to Nashville, so this is like 2011. So I got my bachelor's in exercise science and moved up to Nashville, took a year off from school, wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Didn't want to go to PT school because PT was super lame. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go into strength and conditioning, and I did personal training for a few years. So moved up here from Birmingham, Alabama, worked at a gym, and ended up taking 2 full years off and just really continuing to hone the skill of like training people. And so the gym I was at, it had like a CrossFit affiliate. They also did small group training. They did some boot camp and some one-on-one. So it was like a good mix of training. And I was just up there from like 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. just every day, just grinding. And for me, I got into CrossFit then, but really kind of cut my teeth on like learning how to coach movement, got a lot of repetition there. And what I found was people would come in and be like, great, this is the workout. We're doing this and that. Like, oh, I can't deadlift today. I tweaked my back, laying mulch over the weekend, or rolled my ankle playing, kickball last night. Yeah. I was like, dang, I wish there was a way that I could help them with that so we could get back to training. I was like, what path would do that? And so I got introduced to some physical therapists at the time, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I want to check out physical therapy or chiropractic. Maybe that would help blend the exercise piece to it. And so shadowed a bunch of people. Fast forward, ended up going to Belmont's physical therapy program in 2013 and 2016, and had a clear vision for how I wanted to utilize the skill set of physical therapy and blend it with fitness. But you kind of go through the process there, had a great experience at the school, got out, and just worked at kind of a traditional PT clinic. And I was like, this is not what I signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
This, a year went by like that. I was just seeing a ton of patients, and a lot of them didn't want to be there. And having been active in the fitness scene, I would work with a lot of people that were young and active, and the model was not good for them. People have high deductibles, and so they were paying a good chunk of change out of pocket, coming 2-3 times a week. It wasn't sustainable. And, people would come in and be like, hey, my back hurts in my back squat, but it's only when I get over 315. I was like, great, here's a PVC pipe and a 30-pound kettlebell. It was like the heaviest thing we have. I was like, I can't even watch you do these movements. And so over time, I was like, this model is not built for healthy people trying to be healthier. It is built for people that are injured and need to maybe start moving. And so I was like, there's got to be a better way to do this. And so without, knowing fully what I was getting into, I ended up leaving and opened up EVO, it was called Evolution at the time, out of a small room in a CrossFit gym. It was CrossFit Music City, which I actually went on to buy into and have a part ownership of, and just started doing that. And all I knew was that I knew how to treat people and how to give them a great experience and help them feel better. And so just did that over and over again. And it slowly grew over time, word of mouth spread. And ultimately, we kind of started to add to the team, and the vision. With that, the vision grew. At first, it was like, I want to help CrossFitters be more efficient with their snatches and get better at muscle ups, which is cool. Yeah. That's what I was into at the time. But it's really expanded now as we've opened up these standalone clinics, expanded who we work with to all types of active people, to and then even like diving in. I don't know if you're familiar with Peter Attia, his book Outlive. He's got a good podcast called The Drive. But reading his book and his thoughts around longevity, I was like, oh, this is it. And so kind of reframing how we wanted to work with people. That's what we kind of expanded into. So yeah, it started just like a vision of how I thought people, how I wanted to work with people, finding the right outlet to do that with, and then from a dingy little office in a CrossFit gym to where we're at now.
Wow, amazing.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Story. I was going to ask about the clientele. Do you have more people that are coming in for referral based, or are they coming in just plainly on, I want to get better? Like, what is the percentage of people who are coming in? Hey, I got a referral from the doctor coming in to see y'all, or hey, I heard about you mobility wise. What's the difference in terms of like, there's just healthy people that are coming want to get like just better movement, or is it somebody coming in with an injury?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say, first of all, we don't get many referrals from doctors because we're not a network clinic.
Makes sense.
Typically, those are going to go to. We have a few excellent, especially like non-surgical orthos. A few orthos we've partnered with that really believe in what we're doing, and they're awesome. But the bulk of our clientele are people that just find us through word of mouth. We're super active in the community, doing workshops, injury screens. If I gave it a split, I'd say about 30 to 40% of our client base is people that are in what I'd call like our movement health coaching program, where we are working with them to optimize their health and wellness. They come in, they're basically asymptomatic. They come in once, maybe twice a month, trying to work on optimizing their movement health. And that could be anything from some regular body work, programming, movement coaching, kind of trying to perform better, feel better. The rest are people coming in with a pain problem of some sort. It's, hey, I'm training for a marathon and my knee's been bugging me. How can we fix this? Or I have this competition coming up, or my back hurts and I can't pick up my kid. So that's, I'd say most people enter in that way. And then a lot of people just transition into just staying on, trying to stay healthy.
I feel like it'd be so important for most people, even before you get into strength training. I mean, as if it's something that is new to you, you'd want to learn more about the mobility side of things and the movement pattern of things way more in depth than, even as a personal trainer. Like, I don't know all the modalities and things that we can do to try to train mobility for most people, but to like, just for an everyday lifter, how do you get them to be almost like, not excited. I mean, it's hard to just get people excited about mobility work. Like, like we said before about the idea of Pilates being like it's the thing that's working on this mobility work. Like, we're getting it done, but it's branded as Pilates. Like, how do you get people to be like almost excited. Not, I want to say excited. It's the wrong word, but it's like, how do you get people to like understand that, hey, this is really benefit you, even if it's something that you don't really think about yourself. Like it's going to benefit you to get better at something or feel better. But in that moment, you're like, well, I'm not injured, so I don't need to come in and fix anything. So like, what would be your advice to those people or to anybody who's trying to like think, oh, maybe I do. Maybe this would be an interesting thing to come and check out.
Yeah. That is inherently the problem is there's a lot of this service doesn't really exist in the healthcare space. It's kind of a new concept, like preventative healthcare, and it's showing up in other ways, but from like a physical therapy chiropractic standpoint, like, is that a common thing? And not even just from a traditional standpoint, like trying to solve the problem that people. So to answer your question, I would say it's just asking people questions to understand their goals. And so it's not necessarily framing them like, hey, you should work on mobility, because they're going to be like, I don't care about that. But it asks some questions like, hey, why are you, and I'll do this with people when we have new patients coming in, like I'll try to go a few layers deep to understand where they're coming from. And it's like, why do you work out? Why is exercise important to you? Like you're paying for a gym membership, like you're doing all these things. Like what is the reason why you work out? Because a lot of people will come in and they're like, well, my shoulder hurts. And I'm like, got it. My shoulder hurts sometimes, but I don't always go get it checked out. Like, how is that showing up for you? How is that limiting you? Oh, well, I can't go work out because of the shoulder pain. Like, tell me more about that. What do you like to do to work out? Why is that significant for you? So really understanding the motivation for someone as to why they're pursuing fitness and saying, great, this is how this will keep you doing this long term. And so finding a way to make it relevant to them, I think is really important. So, some folks are easier than others. You know, like I said, if someone is like, you know, younger and has never really had any aches or pains, like it's, you know, it's hard to really care about that. But, you know, once you're, you know, 30s, 40s, been training for a decade or so, you know what it feels like to not be able to do the things you want to do. And that's a really bad feeling. And so it's a little bit of an easier conversation at that point. There's
another route you can take instead of just having to go to this is how it is. We're setting you up here. You're going to see this doctor. You're going to get this, and this is how it's going to be. No, there's another route you can take, which is, it's always great to be able to hear that. I think a lot of people should be hearing that message, you know?
Well, we try to partner with gyms in the area too, that is a good fit. And as they have new people come on, like offer a free injury screen or a free consult or some sort of discounted something to say, hey, you're starting on this fitness journey. Let's just check you out, make sure you don't have anything glaring going on. We can give you a couple recommendations, and that helps with retention in the gym and keeps them working out for longer.
The process you just explained of, you know, getting to the root or the motivation goes along with the people skills side of this kind of business. And I feel like that's something that I've really like learned a lot about throughout being the journey of being a personal trainer. And when you're sharing your story, you shared the progression of just starting out in a little gym to now owning your own business. What is the thing that you feel like you have learned that's been like the most, I'm sure you've learned a lot, but the thing that's like been the most helpful, I guess, through the process that you've learned?
Oh man. I think, well, it sounds cheesy, but like truly developing and sticking to like our core values as a business, like that's our guiding light for how we interact with people. And sticking to those has always steered us in the right direction. So I went to school with a lot of really smart people, and no one really cares how smart you are. They care about how you can help them. And so your ability to connect and relate to people from all different backgrounds and show them how you can help, that has to be in place first before there's any trust or ability to help them. And so when we bring on new therapists, I have put a big emphasis on like the soft skills, like the hard science stuff, like cool. Yeah, everyone, you go through PT school, pass the boards, like you're smart, you can do the things. There's always ways to hone that. What's your ability to like connect with someone and help them really feel seen and understood, especially in healthcare when it's just churn and burn, right? If you're going to spend time with this person, how can you connect with them? I think that's been the number one thing, is just connecting with people and truly communicating with them, showing them how you can help and that it's, you know, you want to help them.
Yeah, that is so good and so true. You said that getting their trust, I feel like, is something I've experienced that really is necessary to make an impact with somebody. And I appreciate that you are a place that isn't just transactional and you really do care about the people who come to see you.
Absolutely.
Do you have any good like success stories, anything that like stands out specifically with anybody that you would want to share?
Oh man, we've had some great folks come through. Let's see. I have this one person, and I can't disclose too much because of HIPAA, but I have this one person that we'll talk to certain people and it'll just click. I'm like, you've got the right mindset. Mm-hmm. Like, these people are trying to stay active through the lifespan, trying to optimize their health throughout the years. And she's a little bit older and she's been super active. And she tries to do like this, like a hard thing every year. It's always been like a runner, a triathlete. And she decided to do a high rocks this past year. And so I originally started working with her from she'd had shoulder surgery, so we're rehabbing her shoulder. She ended up sticking around to do general strength work. And then she's like, I'm doing a high rocks. And we're like, great.
Fun.
And so she joined a local gym that had like a high rocks, class. We planned out a couple things. She did some work on her own at the YMCA, helped kind of write some programming there, but really just, made sure that she was able to stay healthy. So we're navigating, all right, how are your knees holding up at the running volume? How's your shoulders holding up with all the burpees and stuff? Mm-hmm. And like, she went in and freaking crushed like a full open division high rocks, like when most people are maybe having a hard time getting off the couch. And it was really, I was just really amazed as people do that.
Oh, I think that's so cool.
It's just cool seeing people like defy the odds and show like what's possible if you really invest in your health. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I love that. The one hard thing a year.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's fun.
That's rewarding. Yeah.
Yeah, it is rewarding. Sure. I just completed my last high rocks for a while, and I'm like, I was thinking about doing another hard thing in the next year, maybe training for a triathlon, but I'm like, it's so hard on the body, and I just want to strength train and walk.
Yeah.
But that is, now I'm like motivated by your client. I'm like inspired. Like, maybe I should just do the hard thing.
Now you have a place to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a little easier on the body.
Yeah. Oh, and for anyone out there who, that's maybe a whole other demographic that you might not think needs to come to you. But if you're training for high rocks, you program. I mean, you made a program for this lady?
Yeah, we did all kind of stuff. I think that's the extra piece,
and
right?
All encompassing too, like not just training, but like you're going to make sure they're healthy while doing it.
Yeah, a lot of it's volume mitigation. I mean, some other folks, one of my most enjoyable populations, just 'cause I have so much respect for these folks, is we had some people with 5th group Green Berets, and they were prepping for Delta selection. So these are like superheroes. Like, these guys are awesome, and the demands of that selection is quite high. Mm-hmm. You'd be very fit. There's a lot of land navigation. There's a lot these guys are going through, and so we're doing a lot of hands-on work, body work, recovery work, making sure they're moving well. But then all of it is also looking at their program and being like, how do we make sure you're fit enough to tolerate these crazy ruck marches in the woods without getting hurt, but staying fit enough? And that applies to if you're doing a high rocks, if you're running for a marathon. It's how are you moving? How are your tissues holding up? What's your training program look like? Or if you have a coach, we can communicate with the coach to make it kind of it all integrates nicely. Yeah,
that does integrate nicely. And so essential, like more preventative thinking, like so that you can continue, people who are healthy and active and doing things like high rocks or rucks in the woods, like, so you can continue doing those things and you don't get set back. Especially if that's something that you just enjoy, like, not just for fitness, but for your mental health and just like hobby.
I think that people don't stop training. If we look at the biggest correlates with like lifespan and longevity, muscle mass, VO2 max, you need to be jacked, you need to be fit. People that enjoy exercise, like, that's not the barrier for the most part. Is they get hurt and they will pull that back. And that could be my only physical outlet is gardening, but my back hurts since I can't garden anymore. Or that could be I used to run, but now I have knee pain, so I quit. I cannot tell you, I'm 37, how many people I talk to that are around my age, between 30 and 50, they're like, I used to lift weights too, and I don't need to lift all that weight anymore. My back hurt, and I'm like, what? You don't have to go lift that weight, but you should have the option to.
Yes.
And like, you're right. You could just like quit strength training and trying to be strong. And you're likely going to take years off your life doing that. So like fix your stuff so you have the option to go back, and you don't have to like compete in powerlifting to be a fit person, but like, don't let age be the reason why you just choose to stop strength training, because it's so important throughout the entire lifespan.
I just feel like people just don't know that they have the option.
I agree.
They just don't know that they have the option to go and be like, oh, I can actually continue. I can figure out what the root cause is and then get that fixed so I can continue to do it. But instead of just being like, well, like you just said, I'm hurt, so I can't lift anymore.
Yeah,
it's like, well, let's take a look at it. We can dive deeper into that. But I just don't think, it's not at the top of everyone's mind to be able to do that.
And a lot of people who are going to do something about it, they're going to places, physical therapy places, and they're just getting dry needled, or they're just like putting a Band-Aid on it, and it's so transactional. And so many people, I feel like, talk about that. Like, did you go see a physical therapist? And like, yeah, it doesn't really do anything. They don't really know for sure. And so then that will make them think they just can't do it because there's no answer or no fix. So everybody go to EVO because they're going to actually help you.
Well, we had this conversation with the guy the other day, and he was like, I've tried everything. And he listed every single passive modality that exists. And I was like, do you do any like movement or strength work? And he's like, no. I was like, you've had chronic back pain for over 2 years. Like, of course, putting some suction cups on isn't going to fix it. Like, but in their head, they failed physical therapy. There's this preconceived notion of like passive modalities aren't going to fix your chronic pain. Like, you have to move. Like that's, but again, it's a misconception as to like what even is a physical therapist. I got to go 3 times a week forever, and then you get folks that are like, well, you shouldn't even deadlift anyway. And like, if you can't actually like coach and perform the deadlift, like you don't get to have an opinion on telling people to do it or not.
Wow,
like, you got like, it's crazy how many people are out there like, oh, you're gonna be back squat, and it's like, well, how do you integrate back squats? Oh, you don't. You like don't do any of this stuff. Like, it drives me crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
Get me fired up.
How many locations do you guys have?
So we have, we're about to open our 3rd standalone in Cool Springs. We're like ordering the equipment as we speak. And so our main like flagship location is in like Wedgwood, Houston. We just opened a new location in Hendersonville.
Okay.
That's a big one. It's like 3,200 square feet. And then this one in Cool Springs is going to be our 3rd standalone location. We've had a Franklin location that we've sublet that'll be moving into the Cool Springs. So we'll have Hendersonville, Nashville, Cool Springs. And we have a satellite in Hermitage and East Nashville. So try to be spread out and convenient for everybody.
Yeah, so many options. And where can people find you?
We're super active on social media, so give us a follow, evo.pt on Instagram, and then our website, evoperformancetherapy.com.
Okay, awesome. Everybody go follow. And if you found this episode in the least bit helpful or enjoyable, then please like, subscribe, share with a friend, go follow EVO on socials, or go check them out in any of their locations he just mentioned. We hope you guys enjoyed this. We will see you next week, and stay strong, stay connected.